Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our interesting and challenging channels. Welcome to Delta Suara Duita TV, your space for inspirations, educations, and meaningful conversations. Well, today, in this opportunity, it's a bit different as it's usually done. We usually have a program with the two people, one as the presenter and the other as the host. But today is a precious occasions. I am Yulianto Sabat as the leader of Domestic and International Affairs Department would like to describe and explain about a program that's going to be conducted by Domestic and International Affairs Department. But anyway, before talking further about the programs that we are going to do later in this department, let me explain first what actually Domestic and International Affairs Department. Well, if we are talking about this department, actually we have two different main programs. So the first one is Internal or Domestic Affairs Department. So when we are talking about a Domestic Affairs Department, we are interrelating with our members in a branches. We are collaborating in a school. We are having partnerships among international, among organizations, and among, schools and universities. So we are doing internal activities inside of the nations. But when we are talking about international affairs department, so we are talking something globally. We are talking something internationally. So in this case, as we all know that actually PGRI is a very huge organization. So PGRI struggles for the destiny of the teachers. PGRI struggles for the welfare of the teachers. PGRI struggles for teachers' protections in running their professions in the classroom. So that PGRI is not only working internally, but PGRI is trying to struggle internationally. So that PGRI Sidoarjo has Domestic and International Affairs Department because we would like to help all members related to internal issues and also international issues. In terms of international issues, Domestic and International Affairs Department has several programs. Of course, in this case, we would like to facilitate all the members of PGRI in Sidoarjo to have a good skills in English. Because by having a good skills in English, they would be able to communicate to work together globally or internationally. To help all members, we are doing four main activities. The first one, we have what's so-called as English training for teachers. In English training for teachers, all the members of PGRI are trained to learn English, started from beginners levels and then intermediate level and then goes to advanced levels. Of course, it should be done step by step because the members of PGRI are not only in junior or senior high schools, but we have various members started from kindergarten teachers. We have also elementary school teachers. We have junior high school teachers, senior high school teachers. Even we have members from universities. So we need to help all the members of PGRI to have good English skills so that they would be able to communicate internationally. By doing these training activities, all the members will have good skills first in beginner level. In beginner level, PGRI members are trained to use simple conversations. They are trained to practice their ability to speak English. So of course, it's not quite complex. It's quite simple using, for example, greetings, how to open, let's say, the class. It's quite simple conversations. What we intended to do is that we would like to build their confidence to use their English in their daily conversations. So if they are brave enough, they have great courage to use their English in a simple way, then they can pass in the next level. Okay, what is in the next level? Of course, they are going to have in the intermediate levels. In intermediate levels, the topic will be a bit complex because they would like to implement the vocabularies, the rules of English in their discussions, in their conversations. After having this level, they would like to go further to the next level in advanced level. In advanced levels, of course, the topic would be more or much more complicated compared to previous ones. So in the advanced levels, they would like to discuss about the educational issues. They would like to talk about the educational policies run in Indonesia. They need to share their perspectives. They need to share their ideas. They need to share what they are encountering, the problems in the classroom. And the other must respond their friend's problem. They need to offer the solutions, of course, by using English as a means of communications. So we call these activities as English community. So in the English community, all teachers bring topics that they like the most, probably challenges that they are encountering in their class in this community. And they can share each other, they listen each other, and they give solution one another. So of course, in this case, they are using their English skills, not only speaking, but also listening. Sometimes they need to write down what topic that they are going to talk, and they need to read some references to solve the problems. So this is the English community. The ideas of English community is actually, from the fact that most English teachers, sometimes they do not practice, they do not have good circle or good environment in sharpening their English, in developing their English. One friend of mine told me that, I teach English. Yes, I am an English teacher, but when I am teaching English in the classroom, I cannot use my English maximally. If I use my English maximally, or if I use my English fully when I am explaining the material in the classroom, my students protest me because they do not understand what I am explaining. So that sometimes I use 50-50. Sometimes I use English, sometimes I use Indonesian, even I use Javanese. So that I cannot sharpen my English skill in the classroom. I need community. I need environment so that I can share, I can practice, I can develop my English skills with one who has the same frequency so that I can, make my English fluent again. So by having this fact, International Affairs Department accommodates all teachers' challenges, all teachers' problems in their classroom to be discussed in English community, so that the teachers who are using their English minimally in the classroom, they can bring their problem to be discussed in our English community. Of course, we are demanded, we are required to use our English all the time by discussing one another. So this is actually the basic concepts of English community. So for the members of PGRI who could pass beginner level, they would like to move to the next level in the intermediate, and they can move up to the next level to the advanced. When they are in the advanced level, they use English to discuss about something more complicated. They would like to talk about educational issues. They can also talk about the policies in educations conducted in Indonesia. Of course, they can quote unquote criticize the government policy if, let's say, it is not applicable in the classroom. We are required to use the English when we are conveying the problems or anything. So that for the English communities. Now after that, we have what's so called as English podcast. The second program is English podcast. We usually call the English podcast as Saturday English for Teachers. Saturday English for Teachers, we usually invite several teachers to discuss about the problem in the classroom, and sometimes we could also invite the students to discuss about the learning process or the problem that they are encountered, and it is usually conducted every Saturday. Yeah. So for all members outside there, if you just want to follow the English podcasts conducted by PGRI Sidoarjo, you may probably subscribe in our YouTube channel in Delta Suara Dwija TV. We usually have as PGRI Sidoarjo. You can just check it in the YouTube, and you can just give comment or click for subscribe and like, because we discuss about the problem or the issue, the most current issue that most teachers are encountering when they are running their job, when they are running their professions. So again and again, English podcasts, English training are actually done to accommodate the members of PGRI to have good English skills, so that when some foreigners come, or when they are going abroad, they could communicate with some of the people in English. That is the second program. The third program is we have what's so called as international visit. It's one of quite interesting programs that our department would like to do. Why? Because we need to, travel probably in our neighbor country, such as Singapore, or let's say Thailand, or we would like to listen to our members' aspirations if they suggest to go somewhere else to practice their English. Why it is crucial? Because learning English is not just a theory. Learning English is not just about about vocabulary, about, let's say, the formula, simple present, past tense, present perfect, future, and so on and so forth. But actually, when we are learning the language, we are learning the cultures. Okay? When we are learning the cultures, it means that we need to go abroad to have interesting experience. Why? Because if we just learn with our friends, we are using our English with just local people over here. We are accustomed to listening their intonation, their pronunciation, their grammar structure. It's not quite, it's not for the members. They have been accustomed to listening that. So there is no special. But when they are going abroad, for example, they will have new experience in using their English. They will use their English in a real situation with the native speakers, for example. So if they have been communicating with the native speakers, of course, they will have a great confidence. They will have a new experience if they can speak with the native speakers, so they can also speak with the local people. So this is one of the intention, one of the purpose why international visit needs to be done. This is to accommodate it. This is to help all teachers to implement their English in a real situation, in a real context. They can communicate with native speakers. They can use the vocabularies and also the formula and other things. They are learning about the cultures as well. So that's the third program of Domestic and International Affairs Department. And the fourth program of International Affairs Department is that visiting professor. Visiting professor is intended to members of PGRI in special branch. In Sidoarjo, we have 19 branches as our members. And one of the members is that from university. We call it as special branch. In special branch, the members are lecturers, English lecturers. Some of them are professors, associate professors. So by having the special branch, we would like to invite the members in special branch to share their knowledge, to share their expertise to our college abroad. So visiting professor is needed. Why? Because we want to socialize the existence of PGRI. PGRI is a very huge organization. So we are struggling not only in our country, not only in our nations, but we are also struggling in international context. So that's why we are, as a part of International Affairs Department, we postulate 4 main programs. The first one is English training. The second one is English podcast. The third one is international visits. And the fourth one is visiting professors. So by having all these programs, we are, as parts of International Affairs Department, we can serve the members of PGRI. We can accommodate their needs to develop their professions, to help them to have what's so-called as professional development. So in these previous occasions, I am Yulianto Sabat as the leader of Domestic and International Affairs Department, invites all PGRI members to join, to come, to really learn about the English skills so that we can show our existence, so that we can really collaborate with not only nationally, but also internationally. We do hope by having all of this program, it can be done smoothly, it can be supported by all members of PGRI. So, again and again, we would like to have this program to support the members of PGRI to have a good professional development. Hopefully, we can really help each other to support our organization. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you very much for watching our video. See you next time and cheerio.